All right, it's that time to learn how to multiply decimals. Step 1, we are going to make an estimate. Step 2 is pretty cool. We are going to ignore the decimal and just multiply as normal, whether that be traditional, lattice, partial product, whatever your preferred method is, except a calculator. And then the real work comes at the end. So once you multiply, okay, you make your estimate, you multiply out your answer, then we need to put that decimal back in the question. Okay, so now I'm over here on the right side. So placing the decimal point back into the product. We need to, there's 2 suggestions. You can use your estimate. So if your estimate says it's 300, then you would want to put your decimal point in there. So your product would represent an answer in the hundreds. If it's in the thousands, your estimate's in the thousands, you would want to make sure that your answer represents a number that's in the thousands. Or the other one would be, here I wrote, the number of places represented in the question should be adjusted in the answer. So what that would look like would be something like this. If you have 1 3/10 times 1 3/10, we ignore the decimal, it's 169. Now since there are 2 digits represented to the right of the decimal in the question, we need 2 digits to the right of the decimal in our answer. So 1, 2, and I know that would be how I know where to put that decimal point. So I have 2 numbers to the right of the decimal in my product, as shown here, and it matches up to over here. There's 1, and there's my second. Now, it might not make total sense yet, so let's actually jump into some problems, and then it should make a lot more sense. Now let's work through some practice problems. Here we start off with 47 2/10 times 3. First thing we need to do is our estimate, so that will be 50 times 3 gives me 150. Now using my estimate, I'm going to take these numbers 1, 4, 1, 6. That's actually the product, and I took away the decimal point. So using my estimate, I need to be close to 150, so my decimal point needs to go between the 1 and the 6. And that also is confirmed by that I have 1 number to the right of the decimal in the question, and I have 1 number to the right in the answer. Now let's move to the next one. We have 2 4/10 times 2 4/10. Estimate, we're looking at 2 times 2 equals 4. So that tells me that my answer, my decimal should be between the 5 and the 7. I can verify that with, I have 1 number to the right of the decimal here, and a second one here, and I have 1, 2 in my answer. So again, looks like I'm 2 for 2. And my final one, we have 1 23/100 times 4 1/2. Round that off to, or estimate that to 1 times 5 equals 5. So that means my decimal goes here, so I get 5 and 535 thousandths. And let's go ahead and double check that again with my numbers to the right of the decimal points. 1, 2, and 3, and I have 1, 2, and 3 in the question. Now for these next 3, we will go ahead and we can do our estimates a while, but here we are actually going to work through some of the multiplication, just in case you forgot how to do it. And then we'll go and put our decimals in at the end. So 53 9/10 times 6 can make that 50 times 6, which is 300. And then we have 1 6/10 times 1 6/10 will be 2 times 2, which gives me 4. And our last problem to practice with is 9 87/100 times 2 1/10. 9 87/100, go ahead and call that 2, or 10, sorry, times 2 equals 20. Now we'll come back and actually set up the multiplication for these problems. So we have, again, we just ignore the decimal, and we are going to multiply as normal, work our way through. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 5 is our 3, carry the 2. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 2 more is 32. So now I come in, I write my answer, 3, 2, 3, 4. I use my estimate to guide me. I'm supposed to be around 300, plus I know that I should have 1 number to the right of the decimal. There we go. Now for our next one here, we have ignore the decimals at 16 times 16. 36, write my 6, carry the 3, that gives me 9, add my 0, then I go 1 times 6 is 6, and 1 times 1 is 1, and I add these up. I get 256, but remember it's not 256. I have to come in and put that decimal point in. My estimate said 4, and I had 2 numbers to the right of the decimal in the question. Therefore, I should have the same in the answer. And our final question here, we have 987 times 21, 7, 8, 9. Gotta like when that happens. Put our 0, then we go 2 times 7 is 14, carry the 1, 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17, carry the 1, 2 times 9 is 18, plus 1 more is 19. Add these up, 7, 12, carry our 1, 17, carry the 1, 0, carry the 1, and we get a 2. So we get 20727. But again, we need to come back in, put those decimal points. We have 1, 2, 3 represented in the question, and my estimate said that I should only be at around 20. So I put those decimals in, or my decimal in, and I get 20 and 727 thousandths. And the last thing here is the try this part. I do want you to try these. I want you to show your estimate along with your answer. And for this first one here, I'm actually going to give you the numbers, just like we did on the previous slide there. It's 625. So you have to put in the decimal for that one, and then I'm going to let you take care of 1 and 1100ths times 1 and 1/10 from start to finish. Good luck, and as always, I hope this helps.